how are you? It's 2025. Sorry, I haven't seen you in 5 months. Whoops. Yeah, I filmed 2 videos. One of them I fully edited and had a thumbnail, which I feel like is a very like a YouTuber thing to say, right? Like, oh my god, I had all these videos filmed and I just didn't post them. But that's me, and it was 1 video, so that's crazy. Yeah, been doing crazy. I wanted to go through and talk about whether or not I succeeded at the goals I set for myself last year. So I'm gonna review the goals that I had, talk about them, chat, gab. I'm a certified japper. Thank you, I think, TikTok, for making that phrase more widespread because it is such a good descriptor of me. And yes, so let's go through. First off, shout out to me from 15th of January, 2024. At least that's when I posted this video, because I started off that video by saying, this is more of a wish list. That scared the crap out of me. This is more of a wish list. This is not a true goals list. And that really made me feel better because I did not do a lot of these things. My reading year was totally up and down, crazy. So the fact that I kind of started that video when I was reviewing this and like watching it to kind of take notes in my head, I didn't write anything down, about what I was to say now, it kind of made me feel better where I was like, oh, I put so much pressure on myself in the end to be like, I need to do this. And going back, I was actually being a lot kinder to myself than I thought I was. Okay, I have so much anxiety when I film this because I'm like freaked out that my audio isn't working. I'm freaking out that I don't have it from memory. I'm freaking out, guys. Okay, so yeah, basically really glad I looked out for myself in terms of, I put so little pressure on myself, but then in the end I put pressure on myself anyway. I don't even know what I'm saying. Okay, so first off, let's go down the list of goals. Goal 1, read 75 books. Again, loose goals. I read 71 books, which is extra impressive when you realize that I, until August, had only read 30. So that means September, October, November, December. That's 4 months. Why not just do it like this? 4 months, I read 40 books, give or take. So that I am very proud of. I will say the reason that this happened was audiobooks. Like, if I look at the last books that I read, they were almost all audiobooks. I've just been really struggling to sit down and find quiet time and space for me to read. Definitely something to work on in 2025. Read 2,000 pages. Bruh. Again, so this is something that Storygraph tracks. And the reason why I have this is less so because I want to have, it's more of like a length of book. Like, I don't want to be reading like teeny tiny little itty bitty books. So that's where that goal came from. I read 19,747 pages. Again, a lot of that's audiobooks. A lot of that I was listening to them, and I was listening to a certain length of book, and I was listening to enough of those books to get to this length. Either way, I'm very happy with that. I'm very surprised. I did not expect to even get close to that when I was not sort of keeping track of everything. So the fact that I'm there is aces for me. It's all roses. Write review. Goal 3 was write reviews once books are finished. Nope, didn't even do a little bit. Didn't even do a good job of actually like physically keeping track of the books that I read. I had to backfill a bunch of stuff, which is super annoying to me because I like to track when I started and ended a book. So if I don't write it down, I don't necessarily keep my Goodreads up to date like that. So that's a wash. Finish all books started before 2024. I did not do that, but I did a good job of finishing some of them. Like Upstream, Selected Essays by Mary Oliver, I finished Socialism, Seriously, A Brief Guide to Human Liberation. What are some other ones that I ended up finishing? Here, The Radium Girls, The Dark Story of America's Shining Women. Yeah, I started that in 2023 and I finished it in 2024. I finished Prisons Make Us Safer and 20 Other Myths About Mass Incarceration by Victoria Law. Yes. Oh, I finished Battle Royale. The point is, I did have a couple of books. I didn't finish all of them, but a couple of nice books that I was able to get off that list. Goal 4, finish 10 physical nonfiction books. I think I finished like 4 or 5. So 10 was definitely a pretty big leap. But I've not yet sort of sat down and thought about my goals for 2025. But I do think that will probably in some shape or form stay on it, like actually having physical nonfiction books. I think that goal has, like, if I'm being honest, has two sides to it, where it's on one hand, I want to do this thing. And last time I discussed it, it was like, I like to read nonfiction via audiobook, and I like documentaries. I like really scripted nonfiction things. So it's not weird to me, but adding into that, I do just have a lot of nonfiction physical books that I want to finish. So I think that's honestly a more real reason why I have a goal like that. Goal 6, finish 5 books by Chinese authors. I finished 4, I believe, so very good. The books that I finished by Chinese authors are China in 10 Words by Yu Hua. I listened to that on audiobook. I read Ninth Building by Zhou Jingzhi. I read Bad Kids by Zhe Junchen. And then there's one more that I am struggling to remember. Oh, I guess I read The Chinese Groove by Kathryn Ma. I feel like there's another one. Maybe I did 6. Either way, I did read books by Chinese authors. Finished 5 books by Ukrainian authors. That I did not do. I finished 1. Finished 5 books by Eastern European authors. That I did better at. I don't know the exact number, but I probably read 5. Finished 5 books purchased before 2023. Oh, I definitely did that. Again, I don't know which books. I might like list them down in the comments if I so desire. But I can tell you I just did that. Finished 3 books by previously read authors. I absolutely did that. I had books by Masha Gessen, who I've read. I had books by
Andrei Kurkov.
I had books by Hiromi Kawakami, a book by Sushako Endo, so that one. Oh, and Stephen Graham Jones. So yeah, I read books by previously read authors. And then finished 3 Mammoth books. I don't think I did that. I'm not even really gonna look. I didn't do it the way that I wanted to. I didn't finish any physical Mammoth books, so I'm not gonna count that one at all. Even if I did audio listen to big books, I did not physically read any, and that's kind of the spirit of that goal. And lastly, my goal 12 was to finish 1 book of poetry, and I finished The Crown Ain't Worth Much by Hanif Abdurraqib. So there we go. Done. Don't know if I would do it again. I think I like his prose a little bit better. His prose is quite lyrical. I did still like the book of poetry, but I don't know. I think I have another book by him, and I don't know if I'm like tempted to read another physical book of poetry. I don't know if that exercise really encouraged me to do that anymore. So those were the goals that I had. Just touching on some things that I did that were like accomplishments outside of goals is when I got into a slump, I kept reading, and I didn't expect to do that. And so I was able to get really close to my goal, even though I had a huge period where I barely touched a book. So that was an accomplishment. The other accomplishment was getting really into mystery. I read so much Poirot. I don't know the number of Poirot that I read. Let me see if I can find that really quickly. I read 12 Poirot books this year, audio listened, but still, that's like really impressive to me. So that was like a huge thing. I got this like new interest and I really pursued it heavily. I read some nonfiction that I was like pretty excited to read. I read Red Closet, which is about like gay oppression in the USSR. So I'm really happy that I finished that book. I finished books that have been on my list for a really long time. Yeah, and I think I did some really good reading. some really good reading. My complaint about this year is that I don't think I had an amazing reading year. Like, I don't think I read as many really like stand out, oh, I love this book, I'm so inspired by this book. If I had to pick the ones that were like that, Crying in H Mart, I think I really liked that. I don't think it was actually an amazing book. I just think I had a really good experience with that book in reading it. Battle Royale, I really liked. Fun, actiony, but like still nice and gritty. I enjoyed the ending of The Bonfire by György Dragomán. The River Between by Miwi Wa Tiongo. That book, that's an amazing book. That book is one of the highlights of my year. And then another highlight of my year was definitely Deep River by Shusoko Endo. And then outside of that, like, even if there were books that I liked, Curse Bunny by Wora Chung was also really good. I don't think I had a lot of books this year that I was like, oh, wow. And part of that's because I read a lot of these mystery books, which while I enjoy, they are a little... They're not the kinds of books that like deeply inspire me and make me close my eyes when I'm outside so that I can think about how I would artistically represent the feeling of the night. So that's that. And also I listened to audiobooks in Russian. I got 2 books by Boris Akunin, Sigumo and In I Yan. And I started White Nights by Dostoevsky. So I have been listening to audiobooks in Russian. That's been really great. I've like did not think I would do that at all. So I'm really glad that I did. I'm so scared that my aunt's about to like bust in and be like, girl, what are you doing? So yeah, some goals accomplished. Some things I didn't expect I was going to get to do, I did. And then some things that I wanted to do, I didn't do. So I have like good and then forward. This year I want it to be like a beautiful, artsy, I want it to be a year that touches my soul. The other thing I talked about in my video from last year was my channel goals. And I did none of them because I literally dropped off the face of the YouTube for, I'm waiting cold, I'm gonna put my jacket on. I dropped off the face of YouTube for 5 months. And yeah, I want to get back into posting. I want to post at least 1 video a week, but that's kind of a soft goal, right? And I think what I want to do is, I mentioned this last time, is I want to have these goals that get me out of the house, that don't just have me sitting in front of the camera. I want to challenge how I film and edit. I want to be much more playful with my YouTube. I also have some other things like, I don't know, I want to do things that kind of are attached to like, why do I read? I read because to me, reading is reflective of the kind of person I want to be. I want to be a reader because it makes me live life in a way that I enjoy. And there's other things in life that I feel that way about too. And so I kind of want to maybe see about experimenting and doing those things as well. But primarily I think it's post consistently. So 1 video a week I think is very doable for me, even if it's not an exact book review. Like I can find content for 4 videos a month. And then finish up some continue some previous series I started, like bookstore reviews or bookstore tours, whatever. I want to do that. It was a review, so like a bookstore review. I think that would be really cute to keep doing, especially because like I live in the city, New York City, the city. I'm such a douche for saying that. I live there, so like there's so many bookstores that I could choose from. There's like literally a plethora of content. I could do 1 of those a month if I really worked at it. And then backfilling my Goodreads, like I want to do that. I definitely want to keep writing down my book reviews. By keep, I mean I didn't do it at all last year. I want to do that into the new year. So yes, I don't know. I think I really want 2025 to be the year when I do all of the groundwork to build who I want to be in 10 years. I want to be, I've started being like more environmentally conscious. I want to keep doing that. I think I want to go back to being way less meat-based in my diet. And I want to like start to learn how to cook fish, a thing that I'm like terrified to do. I'm like terrified to cook meat, but I feel like fish is easier for some reason. So it's like, I don't know, I want to do these things. I want to really work in 2025 to build the me I want to be in 10 years. And so those are some of my goals. And I think that in some ways having the consistency of like the YouTube project for me is a way I can do that. And maybe it can like bring you in on how I do that self-care. The self-care, not of me in 5 minutes, not of me in 10 minutes, 5 days, 10 days, but me in 5 years and 10 years. How I'm building her, how I'm developing her. So yeah, thank you so much. Sorry for rambling and, again, certified yapping, but I'm excited. I think I'm actually really not excited. I'm super terrified that I'm in an inescapable rut in my life, but I'll get out. Like, I got to. I'll just dig deeper and I'll get worse and I'll just hit rock bottom and then I'll spring up. We'll see. Anyway, thank you so much for watching and I can't wait to see you in my next video. Bye-bye.